How's it going, everybody? My name is Ian, and today we're talking about Hellboy, and with me today is Marcus. How's it going? So, directed by Neil Marshall, and with a cast of David Harbour, Mila Jovovich, Ian McShane, Sasha Lane, and Daniel Day Kim. Now, based on the novels by Mike Mignola, Hellboy is caught between the worlds of the supernatural and human, and he battles an ancient sorceress bent on revenge. Now, it is kind of a basic setup for a plot about monsters and witches and whatever, but I really like it. Let's talk about the characters. What did you think?
I really enjoyed this rendition of Hellboy. The Ron Perlman one is, it's a very good set of movies, and I feel like anybody going in here saying, oh, I didn't like this one because it doesn't have Ron Perlman, you're going to still have a good time if you like Hellboy.
Absolutely, yeah. I totally agree. The Hellboy and the Ron Perlman, with the Guillermo del Toro direction and everything, it was fantastic. But this was just so much fun. It was way more fun that, like, you get in there and it's just like, all right, cool. Like, this is a completely different take on the character, and it's just way more involved.
Yeah, I'll say about this one. This one is a lot more fun. This is a lot more movement in this one than it was in the Ron Perlman one, just because the Ron Perlman one had a lot of lore behind it. It was trying to set up all this other lore that they were going to try to set up for multiple movies to come. Mm-hmm. But I feel like this director and these story writers, they really wrote a fun movie for people. You enjoy it a lot.
I did. Well, yeah, I did really like it. I had a lot of fun going in, and especially with some of these characters, like, there were characters that maybe I had known about, but I didn't know exclusively. Like Diamo, or whatever the guy's name is, the cheetah guy, mm-hmm. right? Yeah. Or maybe leopard, whatever. He was really cool. I liked his character, but I didn't know that much about him. So going in, I had only seen the trailers, and which is a side thing. I wish they hadn't shown him transforming, because it was like a big deal when he did in the movie, but they showed it in one of the first trailers. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, I feel like the trailers, they showed a bit more, like you said, the transformation. I feel like that would have been really cool. That's I really agree with you that. I feel like they showed enough of David Harbour's rendition of the character. Mm-hmm. I'd feel like if they pulled back a bit of the scenes where, put in a bit more of the scenes where it was a bit more comedic, just so they can get a feel of who Hellboy is. Yeah. Because anybody who doesn't know who Hellboy is, they're going into this movie really confused on, oh, I don't understand this guy. He's red? Mm-hmm. He has a hand, I think?
Yeah, he's red, he's head, he might be a demon. I said,
yeah. I feel like if they showed a bit more in the trailer, this is the one thing, I feel like if they showed a bit more of his character in the trailer, they would have had a really good idea.
I agree with that as well. Story-wise, like I said, it's kind of there's a witch that's coming to destroy the world type story, which we've seen. But what did you think about how they did it?
I feel like for the story, this is probably my least favorite. The characters did great. David Harbour did amazing as his character. I feel like the story was not written that well. I feel like it was written a bit better, just with a bit more
like clarity.
Yeah, exactly. A bit more clarity into who Hellboy is, how, why he does what he does, and why he was sent to Earth in the first place.
I do like how they didn't start the movie with who Hellboy is, because they were almost like, hey, this witch, they gave her history first, and then Hellboy's history doesn't come until almost like 20-30 minutes in a flashback from someone else telling it. So it was an interesting dynamic to not have the main character's history explained immediately, but I thought that it worked well because of the opening narration about King Arthur and Merlin fighting, the witch or whatever, was something that you wouldn't necessarily expect going in, but as soon as it starts, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, that makes sense why they would start it like that.
Yeah. I feel like, that's another thing. This movie has a lot of lore in itself.
Oh, yeah.
And it completes the lore at the very end, just not that clearly, but I feel like the way they started it, I think that they did it well that way.
Yeah.
Other than that, I feel like the story itself was just a bit poorly written. If they wrote a bit more, I feel like it would have done better.
I definitely agree that it was poorly written, and like I will say, like, pacing-wise, I was entertained the whole time, it had a great pacing, and what they were doing made sense. What they were doing made sense when they were doing it, but also it was fast. Like, it was going from one scene to, like, it was just like going to the next thing a lot.
Yeah, the pacing is very, very it's very fast paced. Yeah. It's very on your feet. Mm-hmm. I feel like they really dialed it up for this one. Editing wise, I feel like if they put a bit better cuts in it, just because, yeah.
I totally agree. There's many times where, I mean, I'm watching it in a dark theater, and then it cuts to like morning in Norway, and it's just really bright.
Yeah.
You're like, there are multiple visual like pullbacks because it was just, the editing was weird.
A personal feeling that I had about this movie was that the violence was, and you expressed that you absolutely love the violence.
I did.
Personally, I feel like it was just over the top for me. Like it was really in your face, and there are people who love that, and there are people who do. I just don't see myself as a person who does.
Well, what I will say about the violence, exactly like you said, it's to each their own. What I will say is because this movie is rated R, not PG-13 like the other Hellboys were, and this movie is heavily based in the lore of a horror comic like Hellboy, I went in expecting a lot, and I was very happy with what they delivered. There are some parts that are like pretty extreme, but I was a fan of it. But after I got out, I did text my dad. I was like, "Hey, my little brother should not see this movie yet. Like, just wait up a little bit." With the ending of the movie, I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 2 end-credit scenes for Hellboy.
Yeah, I did. I actually missed the last one.
You missed the last one? Okay. The last one is fine. We can talk about it later. It's just, they're trying to set up a villain for the next one. But the future of this series, I feel, is open to at least another sequel because of how they set it up and how, not even just how they set it up, but how the character developed and everything. And I feel like, I mean, obviously I want a sequel, but I feel like it deserves a sequel.
Oh yeah, I feel like Hellboy's character isn't fully written. I feel like they have a whole lot more.
Oh, they have so much. Yeah.
And I feel like if they pull a lot more from the source material, like there's a lot of stuff for other like main storylines that I want to see, like Sword of Storms, Iron Blood. Like those are 2 great storylines that I really want to see on the big screen.
And I think maybe they're hinted at, but nowhere in depth of any of the potential that they have there. And I do something just about the whole movie overall. I really enjoyed that they, because in the first 2 movies, his sidekick is Liz and Abe Sapien, and they just went a completely different direction. They're not even in this movie because they wanted like, oh, we've got these different people. He's with this girl that can talk to the dead, and then the cheetah guy, which it was pretty solid. Like once again, I had a lot of fun. There was never a moment where I was like, all right, this is kind of boring. We're just looking at this guy. Like, it was fast enough the whole time to keep you interested.
Yeah. I feel like if you are a big fan of the Hellboy comics and you're a big fan of like fast-paced action in your face, you will absolutely love this movie.
I was a huge fan. I would rate it just for enjoyability 4 out of 5. Honestly, I could watch it whenever, put it on, and enjoy whatever's going on. Especially that giant scene, the giant fight scene was phenomenal.
Yeah. I feel like this movie is very good. Not to my taste a bit, but I am really excited to see what David Harbour does to the character in the future, if there are any future films. That's just if they make their money back and make over the budget. I feel like I would rate this a 2.5 out of 5.
That's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Thank you for watching The College Cinephile. If you like what we do here, hit that subscribe button. And if you really like this video, hit that like button because we really want to hear what you say. So go ahead and comment something as well. Check out our other videos and just do all that good stuff because you're such great people. That's it for us this time. We'll see you later, Internet.
SpaghettiOs.